Welcome to MCN and Kawasaki's new Z900RS. So it's the beginning of 2026. This model has just come out. It looks just like the old Z900RS actually, which has been around since 2017. It's MCN's favourite retro and it has been for years. The styling's magnificent, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But it's got a few nice little upgrades. So you've got a ride-by-wire throttle now and an IMU. So that means that it's got up and down quick shifter, lean sensitive, rider aids, ABS and traction control, cruise control. It's got a little bit more power as well, so 114 bhp, a few more ponies there. And it costs £11,500. This is the SE model, which is another £1,000, something like that, which has got an Öhlins rear shock and Brembo brakes, and we're testing it against a couple of its rivals, as you can see. This is kind of a throwback to the 70s. We've got a throwback to the 80s here with the Yamaha XSR900 GP. This is actually the most powerful bike here, 117 bhp. These all cost sort of around £12,500, £13,000 depending on when you're watching this video. Yeah, this has got 80s written through it like a stick of rock, hasn't it? And then a little bit more recently, Triumph came out with the updated Speed Twin, kind of a throwback to the 60s. This has got 104 bhp, twin cylinder, 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder. So it's a nice little mix. So we've been out and about on these bikes, testing them dynamically, but to be honest, the weather's been really, really filthy and we haven't really pushed them to their limit, but that's not really the point of these bikes anyway. People are buying these bikes for the way they look and kind of the emotive side of things. So what better to come to the warm embrace of the bike shed in East London, away from the rubbish weather, and speak to Gareth Charlton, who is in charge of creating the Bike Shed Show, which has been around now for 15 years. And if you think of him as kind of the Simon Cowell of the custom bike world, because he's the person that chooses which bikes get to come to the show. So we're going to have a chat with him in a minute, and we're going to kick the tyres, talk about what these bikes are like to ride, talk about what these bikes are like to look at and the kind of the emotions that they stir, and where the different parts come from in history, and maybe talk about how people customise them as well. So we're going to get these bikes into their display area and have a little chat. Gareth, thanks for letting us come and gate crash the bike shed for the day.
A pleasure, mate. What a beautiful group test you brought along.
Absolutely. So you're no stranger to custom bikes.
No.
You've got a few yourself. You're the person that gets to choose what bikes come along to the Bike Shed Show as well.
Yeah,
makes you popular and not popular in equal measure.
Exactly. Yeah, custom builders are always either happy to see me or unhappy to see me. So, but it's a really good fun thing to do. See what people have built every year, and it's always less about the individual bikes, more about the group that we're bringing together for the show. So it's a nice fun role.
What do you think of these as concepts? So these are bikes you can just go into your local dealer, and they're custom retro bikes already.
I mean, I love the sort of retro heritage category, drawing on past inspiration. It's my bag really. But I think they're also starting points for people as well. I don't think you necessarily leave them completely stock. They're sort of inviting you to play with them and modify them, and there's such great aftermarket parts and support for all the different models that I think they're inviting personalization and modification as well.
We're talking about them individually. I mean, perhaps we'll start with the Triumph, because this is the, I guess, 60s style?
Yeah, you've kind of got 60s, 70s, 80s in a way, don't you?
And you've got a 2, 3 and the 4 cylinder as well, so it's quite apt.
Yeah.
So aesthetically, how does this kind of fit for you?
The Bonnevilles, it's the prettiest bike here, isn't it? I mean, the thing the Bonnevilles have all got going for them is that the whole design is cohesive because everything's been designed to the same brief.
Yeah.
I guess the other two, and I say this as nicely as possible, they're kind of lash-ups. They're combos of lots of different models, whereas this is everything that's on it was built for it. So it's just super cohesive and beautiful. Yeah, because
there's no normal version of this where there is
every part was penned for it.
And the details bang on this, isn't it? From the exhaust headers to the NGK style spark plug caps.
They get to be so faithful to the point of inspiration they're drawing from, don't they? So yeah.
And you've ridden one of these,
yes,
albeit the model before. This is
Yeah.
kind of the latest model that came out in 25. It's got uprated suspension and brakes and electronics.
Yeah.
What did you think of it? to ride?
It's such a great bike to ride, isn't it? And I think of the sort of family, the 1200 family, the Speed Twin with the cast wheels and the sort of more aggressive, sporty personality. It's a great bike, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. I did the launch of this and I've ridden it a few times. What surprised me about riding this bike with the others is that it wasn't as characterful, strangely.
Right.
It feels very small. These two feel quite substantial.
The Scrambler 1200 feels like it's been inflated, and I obviously love that. I quite
Exactly.
often dwarf bikes, and yeah, it's a compact little machine, isn't it? But from a styling perspective, it's so cohesive. And I think the other thing with all of the Bonneville ranges is, like I was sort of saying earlier, there's so many great custom houses and parts developers. There's so much you can subtly change and tweak to them.
So what would people normally do to...
I mean, it's...
Where do you start?
Where do you start? People get really into the Bonnevilles, and it starts with the small tweaks, and they'll sort of do things like the indicators or change the bars, do the mirrors, and then it gets bigger and bigger. You get paint jobs, and there's no end to it really. Tail tidies, that's probably the first thing that happens, but the silhouette of it never changes, and it's such a classic silhouette that you kind of just get to personalize it really. And there's loads of great builders doing simple modifications to it.
It does everything it's supposed to. It handles beautifully, it stops well, the engine's got loads of grunt, it's powerful. But I mean, we haven't pushed these bikes because of the weather's been so rubbish. And just riding it normally, it doesn't really bring anything more to the party that a smaller, even the 400 does, strangely.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Yamaha.
I love the
I think
Yamaha.
it's probably our era really, although I'm older than you. But I mean, it's just got Wayne Rainey, Eddie Lawson.
They've just done a Roberts colourway as well.
It's just amazing, and it caused a lot of excitement when it was unveiled. I don't think that necessarily translated into sales, but unfortunately. But the styling, it takes a lot of cues from a lot of places, doesn't it?
I guess it's kind of lucky in a way because it's not targeting a specific model the way the other two are. Like, I always thought of the TZR 250 when I first saw it.
Well, yeah, because of this.
Yeah, the extra scoops around the front.
Scoops around the front's TZR.
The details on it, I love how, like, the Zeus fasteners on the fairing and these little split pins up here. Like, it's really authentic, even though it's not directly pulling from a specific model. I've got a real soft spot for the XSR. I just think it was really exciting that they were brave enough to do it when they launched it.
Yamaha are though, aren't they? They can be quite brave, you know, from the hub centre steering bike to the the Nikon. So
Do you know, I'm glad to see this one has a pipe. Because stock, it's got that underbelly exhaust, doesn't it? Always looks like it's kind of lost a shoe or something. It's kind of missing an exhaust. But yeah, fabulous bike.
And what did you think of this when you've ridden this before?
I quite like the stock XSR position a little bit more with the bars, but I mean, for the aesthetic with the half fairing, it's a really committed position, isn't it?
It is quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, interestingly, we've got Dan and Carl on this test with us. Carl was our deputy editor of MCN, had one of these as a long-termer a couple of years ago. He found it uncomfortable, but he wouldn't change it for the world because he loved the way it looks. And Dan, interestingly, has been running an R9 this year. And I was interested to see what the difference in riding position, because this is very stretched out, isn't it?
It's long,
to the point where you can't even put your elbow on the tank to support you. A bit like the Speed Triple 1200RR, that's similar kind of stretched out. Dan said that although the R9's got a racier riding position, your weight is spread a little bit more evenly, so it's kind of more comfortable. So it's a strange riding position on this, but I think Dan said, given the choice, he'd have the R9 over this for the riding position. Right.
But when the garage door goes up in the morning,
exactly.
You know which one you want to look at, don't you?
I wish it was proper Marlboro red, but you can't do that mass-produced, can you? Because they fade.
Okay.
Because the UV light. Because it's kind of orangey, isn't it? But it's a great bike. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It goes like stink.
I love the triple engine as well.
Yeah.
There was a conversation at the shed. Obviously, there's always random bike conversations happening here, and it was like, if you could have a two-bike garage, but you could only choose one manufacturer, what two bikes would you have? And I ended up going XSR900 GP in Tenere. So I was like, that would be a good garage. I'd enjoy that.
Wouldn't it? It'd be really good.
Soft spot for that.
And this sounds amazing as well, And then finally, Kawasaki. So this is the new bike of the bunch. This is the reason we're doing the test, because it's just come out. It's pretty much the same as it's been since 2017. Visually. And I said earlier that there's some sort of subtle changes, which from a riding perspective doesn't change the way it feels too much. The older version had quite a snatchy throttle, which a lot of Japanese kind of inline fours tend to have. And the ride-by-wire has smoothed that out a little bit, although not completely. Yeah. And this SE version, on its O-lins and better brakes, the ride quality is beautiful. It's very smooth, the engine's very characterful, it sounds beautiful, you know, to ride, for me, is the best here. It's beautiful. But
it's the only one I haven't ridden of the three, and I'm fascinated by it, because like, particularly with the heritage they're all drawing from, I guess like the Z900 for me is like just such an evocative model in the 70s. It's just such a brilliant bike. I remember when this came out, crikey, the original, a good few years ago now, but I was studying it at EICMA because I was really excited by it. And with the sort of Z900 underpinnings and then the sort of the classic top half, it almost, you get that feeling like when someone's wearing a mismatched outfit, like when they're wearing a tracksuit and a flat cap, or a suit and trainers. There's a slight little disconnect in it, but it is beautiful. And the tank in the headlight and how sort of slavish they've been on the top half, the ducktail. Yeah, and it's one of those bikes as well that I always think looks better with a rider on. Like it kind of breaks up that sort of two-half thing. Yeah. And also, as I said, I haven't ridden it, but when we were wheeling it in and sort of had a little sit, and from the seat with those twin clocks and that beautiful tank and paint, it's beautiful, isn't it?
You're dead right. When you're riding it, it feels the most like a retro. Right. So you need to step off these two to realise what you're on. Yeah. Whereas on the Kawasaki, this big, wide, bulbous tank, and the clocks, when I did the launch of this in 2017, they were saying how the typeface is the same as the original, the angle of where the needles rest is the same. The attention to detail for kind of a mass-produced Japanese bike is incredible.
I love those clocks. Maybe it's just because I haven't ridden it, but of the three, it's kind of the one that I'm most drawn to now. You've got them in the room, I'm like, really...
It just makes you smile when you
from there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a beautiful thing. And the paint and the details, again, are really luscious. Yeah.
And what would people do to modify these? Have you seen any of these that have been jazzed up?
It's a slightly harder proposition than the other two in terms of aftermarket support. Do you know there's an amazing custom house in Japan called Sanctuary? Have you come across them?
No.
They do amazing things with old Zeds, but they did something on this one which I really admired. They did a double cradle frame. Oh wow. So they kind of bolted onto these two areas and put like some frame bracing, but it gave it that double cradle look, and you kind of go, like, if Kawasaki had been able to do what Triumph did and said, we're going to
build it from the ground up.
Yeah, they'd have done a double cradle. Yeah. So like that was a lovely thing that they did, but obviously that's quite involved. But I mean, there's not a lot that you do, is there?
I mean, even the badges is kind of faithful to the original, aren't they? The way they're textured.
Drop in enamel.
Yeah.
I like the gold wheels as well.
This is the SE version. The SE. Yeah, so it's got Brembos and an Öhlins rear shock. Yeah. So if you were going to choose best in show, bike shed show, what would you choose? just from a visual point of view. I mean, for me, from a riding point of view, definitely the Kawasaki. But
I'm super intrigued by the Kawasaki, and it's nice to sort of get a bit more hands-on with one, because I've always had a soft spot for it. I need to ride one. My heart goes to the Yamaha. That 80s grab really gets me. If I was riding one every day, I'm loving that riding position on there. But I also know that I love the Triumph. So it's a really tough call, and I think there's no bad call, is there?
No, because it is personal choice. These kind of bikes, it's almost irrelevant how they ride, because they're all very, very good. Yeah. And it's the one you want to open your garage door to, as you said. But you're leaning towards this, aren't you?
I do love it. Yeah. And the details on it, we've said that about all of them, the details on all of them keep you in the game, don't they?
Well, thanks very much for your input. Much appreciated.
Nice to see you.
Good luck with the show, which is when? Let's give it a plug.
The 22nd, 23rd, 24th of May, Tobacco Docks. Yeah, we'll have about 250 custom bikes, all of the usual show fare. So it's a great weekend. So you came down last year, didn't you?
Yeah, it's an amazing place. Cool. Yeah. Thanks very much, mate.
Thanks for coming, man.
So there we have it. There's no actual winner of this test as such, because, as we said before, these bikes are chosen by people because of the way they look and the way they make people feel. They're very emotive bikes, and to ride, they're all great bikes, they're all very complete, none of them do anything wrong. The Triumph was a little bit surprising during the test because maybe it felt a little bit bland compared to the others, but still a great bike. There's also an RS version of this bike, which is a little bit more expensive, but a little bit sportier as well. So I'd still give the Triumph a big tick. I think the Yamaha obviously stands out with its Marlboro Yamaha paint job, makes everyone stop in their tracks. Loads of amazing styling cues there. Is a great bike to ride. Very, very uncomfortable, but I think if you like this bike, you'll overcome the discomfort, as we found in the past with Carl, our deputy editor, has lived with one, didn't mind putting up with the discomfort for the way it looks. And it's actually more uncomfortable than an R9, believe it or not. And then you've got the Kawasaki, the new kid on the old retro block. For me, it's the nicest to ride. It's the most comfortable, it's the one that makes you feel the most special when you're riding it. It's the one that's got the most design cues. It's the most up-to-date with its electronics and its quick shifter, and just such a smooth, beautiful engine. Kawasaki have nailed it when it comes to smooth 4 cylinders. It's not quite as smooth as it could be. The throttle's still a little bit jerky, but it's a lot better now. It's ride-by-wire. But they're all fantastic bikes, and they're all kind of similar money, ranging between 12 and 15 grand really, depending on the spec levels that you go for. But yeah, absolutely fantastic, and you know, they really fit well with this, where we are now at the bike shed and the custom scene. And if you're into that scene, these are manna from heaven as well. I'd recommend going to the Bike Shed show in May. Absolutely amazing show, whether you like custom bikes or not. You just see a lot of motorbikes, there's a lot of really good entertainment there. There's live bands, there's food, there's guest stars, there's MotoGP on the big screens. It's just tick, 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 tick. But I really enjoyed this test. I'm glad we'd come here. We didn't establish too much about what the bikes are like on the road when we pushed them hard, but it's the beginning of February, so what do you expect? But yeah, a good time was had by all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next one.